Hi, it's Nell, and I'm hanging out on the patio off of my office with my Hoya, which I'm going to transplant today, and then I'm going to tell you how to care for it. As you can see, I'm going to have to cut the vines out of the table so I can get it out of here, but that's great because I wanted to show you how to propagate them, and I will. These leaves are a little bit peaked here because this one has been getting too much sun. That's why I want to repot it, and I'm going to move it off of this back patio. I have the beast untangled, all set free in the garage here. And this is the pot that I'm going to transplant it into. It's just a basic plastic terracotta pot that I got at our local reuse and recycle store for 50 cents. And I sprayed it purple blue with a little hint of gold. It's a custom job, and I'm going to plant it in here. And I just want to tell you a little bit about the mix I'm going to use. Hoyas are epiphytes, just like orchids. They grow on basically other plants in their native environment, which is the tropics. So a lot of rich matter falls on them, so you want a nice rich mix for them. So I'm going to use potting soil, I'm going to use organic compost, I'm going to use worm castings, and I'm going to use some orchid grow mix all mixed in there, and that'll be a wonderful mix for it. If you don't have all that, you can use some coco coir to add into potting soil, which is what I use instead of peat moss. It's more environmentally correct in my eyes than the peat moss. So coco coir does the trick too, but just a nice rich soil, and that's what they will enjoy. So I finally got it out of the pot. Actually, it wasn't too bad to get out. Shame on me, the soil had gone down. I'm going to have my horticultural badge revoked for that. But as you can see, it's not too badly pot bound. I just wanted to show you that. I was expecting, I've seen the roots of a Hoya before, but I haven't transplanted one in a while, but it's not too bad. Before I get into the care, I wanted to show you one thing here. This is the color that it usually is. It's a deeper green. As you can see, it's has been hiding under here a bit because it's been getting a bit too much light. And this is the variegated Hoya, or Hoya carnosa variegata. And some of the leaves are going to be pure white too. And some of them have more green, and some of them are white and green, so that's how this one looks. And this one I'm going to be moving to a less bright spot, so it should be greening up. In terms of care and light, I'll start with, it likes bright light outdoors, but a little bit more shaded, actually quite a bit more shaded outdoors. I'm moving it to a shadier spot. Inside, it can take a bright light, just not a lot of direct sun at all. And actually, in order for it to flower indoors, it needs to have that bright light. So you don't want to put it in a shady spot, even though it does better in a little bit of a shady spot outdoors. It needs more sun indoors. And now, watering is true both indoors and outdoors. You want to water it more in the spring and the summer than the winter months. And the winter months you can keep it drier. But mine outdoors in a pot, I water about twice a week because it does get warm here in the summer. Inside, you may only need to do it once a week. I don't know how cool or how hot your house is. So every 7 to 10 days is a good rule of thumb on that. And outdoors, they will freeze at probably about 32, I would think. It very rarely gets below that here, and it still does fine. It still does fine outdoors, as you can see. And the soil, I already told you about that nice rich soil, and this one is very happy to be transplanted, I can tell. It's like, wow, finally. In terms of fertilizer outdoors, I just use worm castings. I just top dress it in the spring, and that's it. This one I gave a generous dose of the worm castings because it does like such a rich soil, and actually it is top dressed with it right now, so that will make it very happy. Indoors, this one would probably like it twice a year. In the spring and then in the summertime, and you would use something like you could use an organic liquid fertilizer like Liquid Organics RX is a good one. They make a great houseplant fertilizer, or you can use the worm castings indoors too. And the only pests that mine have gotten outdoors are aphids. They get, especially on this like more tender new growth and on the flowers, because mine flowered last year. So what I do for that is I take the garden hose and I just hold it and I spray, and I just spray them off. I blast the aphids off. You can do that inside too. You can take it to the sink and blast it off, and or you can use or you can spray it with like a neem oil, because inside they are subject to both aphids and mealybug. Both of those can appear on them, and you never want to spray it while it's flowering. Now that being said, I just told you I sprayed it outdoors, but that's because the flowers dry really fast outdoors. You don't want to spray it and then have the flowers stay too wet indoors. And speaking of flowers, they have a waxy flower that's about this big. It's made up of a lot of little florets. Actually, this one flowered last year, and it's got some flower blossoms on it, which I'm going to show you too. But I will put a picture of the flower in the description down below. It will also be in the post that goes along with this video, so you can see the lovely picture of the flower that this one has. And they generally flower in spring or the summertime, and you know, those a little bit more warmer months. Some Hoyas, there's a few of them that will flower in the fall, but most of the Hoyas flower in the spring and the summertime. And this that you're seeing right here is actually a flower starting to form. And one more thing about the flowers is it's best not to transplant it when it is in flower. I didn't even realize it had these buds on it, but it should be fine, because it's the end of February, so it's not as though it's even spring yet. It's just warmer here in Santa Barbara. They are very easy to propagate. As you can see, I saved these over here, and they propagate in water. I'm going to save that one because that one is the end of the flower. So what I would do is I would cut it off at about here, then take off these bottom leaves, and then I would probably just leave about that one. And you could propagate it in water that way. Just make sure that this node stays covered. I'm going to try to do the whole long stem too. I bet that it's going to be just fine. And then this one is the one that's really bleached out because it was getting the most sun. It's very yellow. So I'm actually, as an experiment, I'm just going to take all the leaves off of this one. And I'm not going to do it all now. I'll cut it at an angle. I will put this part in water. I'm going to take all the leaves off, and I'm going to see if new foliage reappears on this stem, because I actually have no idea, and I love to do some horticultural experiments every now and then. Now, because they are native to the tropics and they grow under other plants, they grow in very humid environments, so your Hoya would appreciate a misting every week, maybe once or twice a week, and that would benefit it. Here, I'm just 7 blocks from the ocean, so it could get some moisture out in the air, so I don't even need to worry about it there, but it would appreciate that. Now I'm going to move this to a shadier place. It's going to get actually bright shade. It's going to be just fabulous for it. And it's going to be on the ground. Hoyas normally hang. As you can see, this one has a lot of trails to it, and it was growing up the patio umbrella. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get those bamboo hoops. And I found ones that are 3 feet, but I think I want to find ones. I've seen them at 4 feet. The store that I looked at just didn't have them. And then I'm going to put a hoop this way, and I'm going to put a hoop this way, and then I'm going to trail these up the hoops so they will go up and over. I love Hoyas. Some of the varieties they come in are just wild. They're just great plants, and if you get one as a house plant, it's going to be a little bit more effort, but it's so well worth it, especially when they flower. And remember, you need that bright light to have them flower. So I hope you found this video helpful, and please subscribe because I have a lot more videos coming your way that I think you will enjoy. So get out in the garden and let's make the world a more beautiful place. Thank you for watching. Bye.